Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Survivor 41. We are here to talk about all of the horrific, terrible gameplay that we saw tonight. I have so many things to say about both tribals, but I'm flabbergasted by these players. I think one of the best episodes of the season, like easily. And I can't wait to break it all down. I'm excited. With us always, Beth. How are you doing, Beth?
Doing well. I love Survivor. I feel like Survivor
too.
gives me the drama that I need on a weekly basis that just honestly, Big Brother just doesn't do it for me. But this kept me on the edge of my seat all night.
Whew, yes. And Matt Henning is joining us today, our wonderful chat mod and patron. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing. And tonight's episode kept me in the doing category.
Yes. Well, I can't wait to break it all down, but I want to say hi to everybody in the chat before we get too knee deep in it, because I feel like once we get going talking about all this, we're like not going to be able to stop. So I want to say hi to Linda, Pokemon, Heather, Juan, Kevin, Romero, Adrian, Celeste, and Valencia. Sorry to Valencia's draft team tonight. We'll update that as well. But she took the hit tonight. Sorry, Valencia, and Ann Yelton. So welcome everybody in to help like break all of this down. But gosh, like where do we even start? Like Nasir. I am so disappointed by him tonight. I just like he didn't play his idol. He pulled a Laura Boneham and like told the target that they were leaving, and then it just like totally flipped back on him. I'm very disappointed in this year because I thought he was like really sitting in a great position in this game, like a really powerful swing position with an idol in his pocket too. This should not have been his fate tonight.
I agree. I also have to say I'm disappointed in Shan because Ricard played this perfectly. Ricard literally orchestrated to make sure that an advantage was played and flushed out of somebody that he trusts, but also knows that he can't control. And then he also was able to flush out / get rid of just somebody who had an idol who trusts them and works with them, but once again is somebody that isn't in his exact inner circle. And also keep two people who, even though Shan sees Erica as a threat, they're not really threatening. So like keep two non-threats in the game, get rid of somebody who is a threat. Ricard gets MVP for the night for me.
Matt, what do you think?
And I completely agree. The problem is the people who are on bottom outside of Xander and Erica don't seem to get that you can do something when there are 10 people, because 5 is not a majority, it is half.
Yeah.
And by choosing not to do anything about it, those who are still left are in a bigger predicament.
Yep.
Yeah, with like less numbers, less people to turn to, and just less resources to like get what you needed done. But sometimes like just kind of like kicking back and waiting to see like what comes to you is actually the good move, and that's why I want to commend Erica tonight. Like she understood that her and Heather were on the bottom in this tribal, and they knew that like, listen, like we're just 2 extra votes that somebody can pick up, and just kind of sell yourself as that and wait for the opportunity to come to you. If you're playing with like such like crazy chaotic people like Shan, that opportunity is going to present itself in one way or another.
Absolutely. It's interesting. The other thing that came out tonight from everybody's mouth was weakening Shan. Why not just vote for Shan? Make her play her idol. Even if you're her closest ally, that seems like a pretty good idea to do right now. Knock her down a peg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also think that Ricard, this showed tonight that Ricard is the brains of his and Shan's duo. Because Shan played tonight like someone who needed someone to tell her what to do. Even if she had moments where she's like, don't tell me what to do, she fully needed someone to say, this is what we really need to do in order to progress our game in the direction that they want.
Well, I think that Shan is like equally as smart as Ricard, but I
Oh,
think
I'm not trying to say Shan is like dumb or not strategic in any way,
yeah,
shape, or
of
form.
course, yeah.
It's just like I think because she's had these advantages, she's kind of become blind to like
Yeah.
options. Because when you
Yeah.
don't have advantages in idols like Ricard technically does not have, he has options.
Mhm.
Yes, and I totally agree with that, Matt. Like, I think that her issue overall is like she is so short-sighted. It's crazy. Like, she cannot see the forest through the trees and realize that like not every single little micro decision has to be something that she like falls on the sword on and spends all of the social capital on and wastes an extra vote to like make this tiebreaker that doesn't even go her way.
The thing is Ricard's the one that told her to play the extra vote. And
Yeah.
there's no reason for it other than to get that power away from her. So he strips her down a
Away from
little
her.
bit. And the best part is, like, we have to address this because this is absolutely a factor. The lack of food this season is really getting to people. You can tell that they're
I
not
feel like
able to think things through.
I feel like Shan needs a Snickers. Like Shan is literally the people in the Snickers commercial who is like, you are not yourself without a Snickers.
Yeah.
I don't think she's won any of the food challenges. She didn't win the merch feast. She didn't win this week's food challenge. She didn't, and I can't remember. Was there food on the line last week?
Papaya Gate.
Oh yeah, papaya. Oh yes, Papaya Gate, which is not the same as beef stew or the merge feast.
Can we also just, I know this was last week's episode, but I wasn't here. Grilled cheese.
Allison went on this whole big rant about grilled cheese.
Yeah.
What did she really? This late in the game, grilled cheese. Chips.
I would say
Where's
grilled
the
cheese.
budget?
Yeah, really. Like they went 26 days. We have slashed the budget pie. Like
seriously.
So you
like,
get grilled. I was waiting for them to say it's grilled cheese and tomato soup from a can that you will make at hand.
This. How often was it? Go to a waterfall and have a barbecue. Go on this excursion, or whatever. They have been going back to camp, eating grilled cheese
and beef and chicken stew.
Beef and chicken stew, I think that's better. There's actually
well, yeah, it's a step up from grilled cheese.
Like that's actually filling, and there's things that grilled cheese. I can't have more than one grilled cheese, and I can eat anything I want right now. And but I could have all the beef stew I wanted in the world.
Yeah,
see,
it makes
the one
me wonder,
thing
like,
I
where
hated.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, it's not necessarily about the food. The one thing I didn't like about tonight's like split tribal is I missed the days where the winning the winning group got to sit and watch the losing group's tribal council, because I think that would have made while they ate, because I think that would have made tonight's dynamics even that more interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Because all eyes would have been on you.
That's the time to have grilled cheese, by the way, production. Make them have grilled cheese and chips while they're watching the other tribe. Come on.
Well, I worry about, like, if they were to sit and attend that tribal, I worry that, like, you know, like we like you said right before we went on air that like we think that like them seeing Nasir sitting at the in the on the jury section like tipped them off to like vote in a certain direction in that second tribal. I feel like it would be impossible to contain like little just like looks to each other to kind of like guide like where the vote is going. So
but at the same time,
that's the part. That's the point.
Yeah, that's the part of the game. I also think Xander plays his idol on Evie in that situation, because now you have everyone watching, and like that's the advantage of like having an idol and being able to make those moves. Is the reason I don't think he does it tonight is because he can't do it with everyone watching.
I think he doesn't do it as a self-preservation thing.
That too.
I think he realizes that Evie is going to leave at some point, and I can't risk giving away the only thing that is going to keep me in the game if I don't win immunity.
And then because Nasir was also voted out with an idol in his pocket, I think he's realized I need to have the idol, and the minute I am not safe, I need to play the idol.
Yeah.
Because there's no sitting on the idol.
Yeah.
So I guess like what is Xander's like direction moving forward, except to maybe kick back and play the Erica style this week, right? Where like you just kind of sit back and say like, listen, I am like a number. We saw in the preview that there's gonna be a lot of like internal arguments to be had between like the big majority alliance. So does Xander like present himself as like, listen, like you can pick me up as a number? But then again, like his threat level is so big. Like, are you able to like kind of like go back into the shadows like a Heather is able to, like an Eric
he can't, so he has to put himself out there. Like he can't be somebody who just goes, I wonder what's going to happen, unless he wins immunity. What he should do is go to Ricard and say, listen, Shan is controlling you. She's controlling Deshawn. She's controlling Liana. She's controlling all these other people. We need to do something about that. But he needs to be aware what the other conversations are. It's amazing to me how, just as a step back from this, actually, how awful this majority alliance is at being like, let's have a conversation 15 feet away from the other people and just show our power to them. Like,
and that's why I don't think that, I said this last week in the chat and they like talked about it, is these are not really alliances. These are marriages of convenience. Because Shan and Liliana are acting like a duo of sorts, and so is Shan and Ricard. Like that's a bizarre throuple. And Danny and Deshawn are acting as a couple, and Erica and Heather are acting as like a couple. But these groups together, the couples, like what they want, do not mesh.
And that is
why I think you see the destruction. And I think Xander made a very smart move.
That he goes to Ricard because he knows that Ricard is connected to Shan and that Liana and Shan are always going to trump Ricard and Shan. I think he's smart enough to see that.
Well, he already laid the groundwork with Danny and Deshawn and pointing out that it's viewed as Shan is the one calling the shots. And while he might not have gotten Liana voted out tonight, like I think he wanted to have happen, he has laid that groundwork of, if I'm on the jury and Shan is sitting next to the two of you, she wins because the jury views it as Shan is calling the shots, not the two of you.
Well, and not only that, but like I feel like after like Shan like plays her extra vote, much to Ricard's dismay, and like tries to make that tie vote, and then like she just like totally wasted that to go against Ricard.
That wasn't to Ricard's dismay. He told her to do
that.
No,
that's Ricard wanted Shan to flush her.
He wanted her to play
because
that.
Honestly, if Shan wanted to vote Naseer out, you just vote for Naseer. You leave the extra vote in your pocket, and he goes home 3-2. Ricard wanted the dramatics and to flush Shan's extra vote out of the game. To keep because she refuses to give it to him. So if I can't have it, neither can you.
Exactly.
Okay,
he wants
and he basically said
power.
So
and that's why I think Ricard will flip on Shan. It could happen next week.
That's
because when we've had votes
I think Xander. I think that Shan or Liana goes next week, now that I'm thinking about it.
Because I think based off what we saw in this episode, Ricard is now super duper aware that Shan is never going to do what he thinks is fully best. Especially if she has her girl next to her to help buffer it. And I don't think Shan would see Ricard flipping on her next vote, and you could easily catch her with an idol in her pocket, because I don't think she would expect it next episode. And what I've noticed with Survivor this season is all of the votes like that they've teased, like, oh, it's Heather, it's this, it's that, in the previous, they never seem to be actually going home. It seems to be they like to do the fake teaser. It's the fake teaser.
It's never the first name. It's always the second. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's Deshawn or Ricard next week. If anything, I agree with Pokemon. I think Deshawn, Ricard, Xander, Erica, and Heather could easily come together as the new five and vote out Shane. and she won't see it coming because she thinks she's in control.
I do want to point out I want to point out like the Danny like old schoolness of it all too, because I think that could be another reason why like the flip on Shan is coming next week. I think that like all of these like shenanigans like are really going to get to like
I vote.
old school players.
I'm casting my vote for Tyler. Beth, would you like to join me on that vote?
I would.
You know who Danny?
I'm so proud of
you know
that.
who Danny reminds me of? You know who Danny really reminds me of? He reminds me of Ken from Millennials versus Gen X.
Yeah,
I
no,
can
that's
see
a
that.
He seems to have
I
that.
said last week he reminds me of Andrew Savage in like Survivor Cambodia, like that type of.
I see. The reason I say he reminds me more of Ken is he has a little more self-awareness than I feel like Savage did, but he still has that very much we have the numbers mentality. Why go against it?
Yeah.
I have my number 1 and 2. Why would I turn against it?
Right.
Yeah.
Like you saw when Deshaun said to him like what are we thinking tonight? Like the thought didn't even cross Danny's mind. He was like, I mean, of course it's Evie. Like
yeah.
what
And
other
that's
plan, could it
and how many
be?
times during Millennials versus Gen X did Ken say to someone, "We're voting out person X,"
Yeah.
like when they voted out Jay, or what's his face who stole the food, who was obsessed with Figgy, and I can't think it was Taylor. It was, we're voting him out, and he literally almost said it to his face. We're voting you out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I honestly think that it's just been a building narrative against Shan for so long. I feel like the bubble bursts next week and Shan goes.
I mean, yeah, we're getting to that roller coaster top, and someone's gonna die.
It's just like I tweeted this, like she is just so like such a chaotic, like short-sighted player, like it, and I want so badly, like this is out of love, like this is constructive criticism,
of course,
because Shan, I want you to be this like evil genius, like badass bitch, but like as much as I would love for you to be a Big Brother 23 Tiffany, like it's just like such a short fuse for like literally every single thing. And like playing with Shan is like playing.
It's been a switch because before she got the power, she was that bitch. When she the process by getting those 2 powers, she was that bitch. And then as soon as she got it, it literally poisoned her ability to think clearly, to maintain the relationships. I love, can I just say this? I want to give her a lot of credit here. I want to give her roses.
Sure.
I love, even though she's not really doing it, I love that she's saying, tell me where I messed up. How can I better communicate? I love that kind of thing. I wish people would do that in real life. Why can't we have those moments of like, where did I mess up? How can you help me? Yes, I'm going to continue to work on this. This isn't something I just flip a switch and it's better. It's going to be something I have to work on. I want to give her credit there. That said, turn around and just keep like egregiously making the same things. That's a level of that she's not aware of. And now that she's watching herself back, maybe she will be. I don't know. Her tweets seem to suggest otherwise. But I will say that I really truly think that she is a great strategic mind. I think the hunger, you saw it when she dropped from this challenge today. She looked like she was going to pass out. Like she has no energy. This is affecting her ability to think. And I really honestly think that between the power poisoning her mind and the fact that she has no food and energy, this is really just a bad combination for her.
And the really bad part about it is Shan shows all of her cards at all times. Like literally in the immunity challenge, you're rooting for Naseer. You're rooting for everyone but Erica, and you're making it very obvious to Erica, I'm not rooting for you. And then on the other side, when it comes down to Deshaun versus Xander, she is openly rooting for Deshaun.
Yeah.
Like when you play, and then like she exposed Liana's advantage in front of Tiffany. She's like, oh, I have cards. Let me show you what they are. Like she's showing her hand.
Yeah. And
it's not benefiting her in a way where like, oh, if I have an idol, I show it to you to gain trust and gain social capital.
This is going to be a reference that literally only like 0.5% of people are going to get, but I'm going to explain it a little bit. She
Are you
reminds
about to
me.
name drop Scary Movie 3?
No, I'm not. Oh God, no. That's not 0.5%. That's a good 5% there, not 0.5.
Okay, all right.
There is one of my all-time favorite people in the whole world. Her name is Victoria Coren Mitchell. She is a TV presenter, author, writer, and poker player from the UK. And she won the European Poker Tournament in London in 2006. It was her home bar. She was the first female ever to win a poker tournament in the EPT. She was very much had a Shan-like game. And it was because she kept drinking. When she was drinking wine, she started giving everybody her tells. She started sitting there and say, I'll tell you this for free, that if you've got a queen, you're beating me. And she started doing that kind of stuff. And literally, she writes this in her book that so many people had to literally take her off to the side in between hands and be like, you need to stop. And they started giving her tea. They started giving her water. They started giving her food. They started saying, like, you need to stop. You're ruining your game. You've lost a few hands, that kind of thing. And the moment that other people intervened and were able to get through to her, she turned it on, she won, and she ended up winning. And I truly think that what we need here is somebody who can take Shan, literally, Shan needs some food. Shan needs a pep talk from somebody who isn't coming after her because she's not speaking to them correctly, or doesn't seem resistant to her plans. She needs a yes man who is also going to feed her, both physically and literally feed her, but also is going to be somebody who makes her feel rejuvenized. Until that point, she's going to continue to give that information, those hands, and make everybody see what her game is. And she doesn't have a hidden game.
Mm-hmm. To borrow a poker term, Shan is on full tilt.
She's on full tilt.
Yeah. She's on the fullest of tilts.
And Beth, I think that these are all thoughts. Like, I can picture Ricard thinking that it could be that person for Shan. But he identifies that that's probably not the best move for his own game.
No,
so, I'm just
and that's exactly it.
Along.
The people who told Victoria Vicky Coren to stop drinking were people she knocked out of the tournament already, and we all know that nobody on the friggin' jury is going to be able to do that for her. So this is obviously a very different situation, but it is something that, if it's in no one's best interest right now except for Liana's to empower Shan. And even Liana's, I don't think it is, but she can't see that either. Because Liana, by proxy, is also really turned on by the power and also is very fixated on Xander to a point where it's gonna ruin her game.
She's on full Mariah Carey obsessed levels.
Why are you so obsessed with
me?
She
is and that's that knowledge is power advantage got her drunk on power. And she is still focused on
encouraged it.
Mm-hmm. And it's the two of them, there is no way for one of them to sober up, so to speak, until one of them takes a loss.
Exactly.
So does Shan have any winner's equity left in her, do we think? Is there any path for victory for Shan at this point if she doesn't go next week?
Honestly,
if she doesn't go next week, she keeps barely surviving.
Here's the problem: is the jury is now stacked with people Shan has treated potentially like garbage.
That's not what I think the problem is.
I feel like Shan. I don't feel like Shan would get Tiffany's vote. I don't know if she would get Nasir's vote. Well, depending upon who she's against in that situation, she wouldn't get Erica's vote, and she definitely wouldn't get Heather's vote.
Yeah,
and that's 4 people.
Deshawn, Danny, they're all pretty fed up with her too.
But here's the thing. I have a feeling though that there's quite a few people that would bury the hat. If Abby Maria can vote for Denise Stapley to win, they're just putting it out there.
That's a good example.
though to be fair, she didn't have many more palatable options. It was Lisa and Scoopin.
Well,
Lisa Welch played a good game in Philippines. I will die.
Lisa's game wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as Denise's.
Abby spent the entire time being personally upset by everything that Denise was saying about her, like from the moment they merged, and she still recognized that she played the best game, or that she was the winner pick there. And I just think that this is a cast of players. This is a cast of fans. This is a cast of people who I truly think, like, if Shan makes it to the end, I'm sure there's nothing that Tiffany would love better than to give her a good like tongue lashing at Final Tribal. But I could see Tiffany vote for her. I could see her take her moment of being a power or whatever. And Pokemon says Shan is giving me somewhat Russell and Heroes versus Villain vibes. Not as bad, but she's reminding me of a power go. All the power, but such a go. I don't think she's a go. I think she's more like Parvati in Heroes versus Villains. I think that people were upset with Parvati, but they recognized her gameplay, but they just felt like Sandra was the better villain. Sandra did the better things, you know?
Here's where I'll counterpoint is, if it's a final two, then yes, I could see Shan being more like a Parvati. But if it's a final three, like it has been for the past God knows how many seasons, I don't think Shan has that same situation, because the jury will then have two potentially more palatable options on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it really does depend on who she's sitting next to. If she's sitting next to Xander, she's going to have a hard time.
I think Shan has to be sitting next to Danny and Liana to win the game.
I agree.
Because I think Deshawn could beat her. I think Ricard could beat her. I think Heather hasn't hurt anyone's feelings. Which I don't
think they're going to award Heather $1 million. I love Heather, but
I feel like this jury could, like, depending upon how it all shuffles out, I think this jury could easily give a win to a Heather or an Erica, because they have not done hurtful things. And some people on that jury definitely feel like they could be. Yeah, but I mean, I think there are definitely people who are potentially on that jury if it's like Shan versus Erica versus Heather. Because in a perfect world, she should think that's the final three I really want, because they are perceived as goats. I could see Shan being viewed kind of like Russell of, I did all of these big moves, but I also treated all of you like shit on the way out.
I think that like it would have to get really, really dirty and really personal for like this season to result in a Heather win. I don't think we're like quite there yet, but like it very well could get there.
Shan isn't making people feel like shit the way that like Russell did.
Yeah, no,
like,
she's not there.
That's not what she's doing. She's
not there
people.
yet. Yeah. She's
burning
not there
people,
yet.
and she's making people not feel like their voice is heard. That's a very different thing than being like absolutely teased and broken down, right?
Right.
And I like what Adrienne has put in the chat. This, she said Tiffany said in her exit press that between the Deshawn Shan argument and Tribal last week, she gravitated more to Shan's side because of her power to convince people, and that's exactly what I'm going to lay on. I think if she makes it to the end, she is a pastor. She's a very good speaker. Not saying that Deshawn isn't, but she has a way of persuading people. We saw her do it twice with different powers and such. And she has a way of getting people in a group and going, okay, here's the plan. And that makes other people upset because they don't have her power to do that. I can see her absolutely answer any question that somebody has coming her way and convincing people to vote for her, even if she's upset them.
I have a weird prediction for this season, how it ends. We're going to get a plurality winner. You're not going to get a majority winner. I see a potential in a world, depending upon who's there, where it could go 4-3-2. Just based on all of the divisions across the board.
Place person to actually get votes. I would love that.
Yeah, and I sincerely think, just because of how like paired off people have been, those people will vote for their person if they're sitting in the final. So I think there is a very good chance that we see a plurality winner instead of our traditional majority winner.
Totally. And like to piggyback off of that, Matt, like there has not been one person this season.
Is it 8 jurors? I thought we had 9. Well, I guess yeah.
Well, it could still shake it could still shake out tight. But like what I'm saying is like there's no like Kim Spradlin this season. There's no like Boston Rob. Like there's no one person that's like steamrolling this game. Like I'm looking at the like after this episode ended, I said to Tim, I was like, I really have no idea who is going to be there at the end, like how like the rest of this season is going to shake out. I feel like it's like very even right now, and just like the littlest thing can like turn the tide like against or for somebody just for that week though. You know, like it like in the very next round, like I know you guys like dog on me for mentioning BB Can 9 all the time, but like it feels very like that in terms of like there's no like yeah, there's like a soft majority alliance, but like they're not truly working together, and like every little power shift is like changing the absolute direction of this season.
Honestly,
and it's really exciting.
It kind of reminds me to a certain extent of a mixture of David versus Goliath and Koa Rong. Like you had so many different personalities in both of those seasons, and you had so many power flips. I think David versus Goliath is a better example because of the advantages and the idle nullifier and those kind of things that kind of like threw like wrenches into the game. But I really truly feel like this is a season. I completely agree. I could see a case for pretty much anybody to win. I'm sorry, I don't see Heather winning, but I can see a case for anybody going to the end at the very least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to start shifting over to the other tribal now. Unless there's like any other last thoughts that we have about how that all shook out. Is it? I would assume this year's idol is going to be re-hidden next week.
I don't. I think
it's gone
after like the attempt to give Xander an advantage. They have not tried to slide anything else in. Like there's been like the past 2 weeks, there's been no advantages slipped in unless I totally missed one.
Can I just say, like, so Erica in that tribal said the problem is everyone knows where all the advantages are, and she's right. Like that is like kind of stalemating like people from being able to target like certain players in this game. And Jeff says, why does everybody know? Like what's the deal with that? And they all tell him it's because of the twist you guys made where like we all had to like vocalize to like activate it. And I'm so glad that they like called Jeff out on that because they easily could have made up like a bullshit.
It was an indirect call out.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to tell anyone I have an extra vote. Like there's no like you don't know that Shan has an extra vote unless Shan said.
Yeah, I think that his question was more about the advantages and not the idols, because I think it's an obvious thing about the call out, but the advantages were things that were done in secret.
Yeah. And it seems all of the advantages have blown up in the person's face. Like no one has really used. No one has used no one's used an advantage correctly. I think because Brad lost his advantage. JD had his vote stolen and then was used by Shan tonight. I wouldn't say correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Because it resulted in a tie. The knowledge is power advantage blew up in Liana's face at Tribal.
Yeah.
And the
I
only other
Xander
advantage
had an extra vote.
He has an extra vote. So that's the only advantage out there that could be played correctly.
Yeah. And I will say, like, if I have faith in any player this season to correctly play something like that, it is Xander. Like, I am so impressed with him, like, the past few episodes, but especially tonight. I think he played tonight as well as he could have.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, like, I really thought, like, preseason, we were getting like a Travis from Big Brother 23 type of thing, like just like a dumb like surfer dude. But like Xander is like gameplay and just he is like so like just like tuned in to like how the game's playing it and kind of like maneuvering the chess pieces. And I'm glad that he really like identified that he was in such a powerful position this week. So like the other tribal, like they're upset that everybody knows about the advantages and the idols and stuff like that. But for Xander's case, like he used that to his advantage to put himself in a power position. And we saw Liana, we saw Danny, we saw Deshawn all kind of like tuck their tail and go to him, asking like, please help us out. It was fun to see them squirm a little bit.
I will say this. One thing that we didn't discuss is that Erica and him do talk in the very beginning. And the only reason why we don't see them maybe come together for a vote is because they're literally on two different groups of voting at the end. I really don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Erica, Heather, Xander are teaming up, and it only takes a Deshawn, a Ricard, somebody like that to help flip the script a little bit.
Yeah. And so I guess like the big question for this tribal is, should Deshawn have flipped here and voted with Xander and Evie to take out Liana? What do you guys think?
I think Evie was a dangerous player.
Because I think it exposes you as the player who's willing to make the move. And it seems like the people who are willing to make the move, i.e. Tiffany last week, who was revealed as the person who had the idol and extra vote in her possession, it made her a target, even though she didn't get to keep them. Well, she could have. She could have said, fuck you, Xander. It's my idol and extra vote now. Because there's no, you must return advantages. But it made her the bigger vote target. And I think if he does that in front of one of his allies, i.e. Danny, who is playing like a Ken and would run back to Shan and Liana and be like, yo, he went rogue for no reason at all.
But then does he move up the threat level like before Shan, before Xander even? You think so? Because
someone like Danny and everyone's aware that Shan and Xander have idols. So until you get them in a situation where you can either catch them with their pants down, like what happened to Nasir, or that you're putting them in a situation where they have to flush it in order to make it further in the game.
I mean, what's stopping him from getting Heather and Erica together with Xander and Evie, and them being like a majority of 5, and they go after Danny?
Evie is no longer in the game.
She just got voted.
No, but I'm saying if he voted out Liana instead tonight.
Oh, it's still a I don't necessarily trust you move, because you were willing to flip on people who Erica has already clearly seen.
That's burning 3 jury votes for sure. That's a different level. That's a very different level than what Shan is doing, right? Because it means a little bit more to them on an identity basis, I think, to do something like that. I say that by proxy, not as someone who can actually live that experience, of course. But I think that if they were smart, they would really go after Xander next week as long as he doesn't win, at least to flush one of his powers.
Yeah, I was happy to hear Liana she just very quickly mentioned we have to start flushing this when all of them were huddled, minus Erica at the beach. I heard Liana say that under her breath, and I'm like, that's what I was saying last week. At a certain point, when you have this big majority, you really should just sacrifice one of your own to flush out this idol and be sure of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, and the longer you let it go on, that's how Tony gets to the end and wins. Nobody wants to touch that idol, that power, and it's very passive gameplay.
I can see Deshawn and Ricard looking at the writing on the wall and saying, we could literally get both Xander and Shan to play their idols next week.
Well, especially since I don't know if we know for certain, but usually idols die at final 6. So you have
5.
Basically 5. I know some seasons it's been 6, some seasons it's been 5.
It's been 5 more recently. Think about when he came back, when fucking Chris came back from Edge of Extinction at 5 and they gave him an idol. It was so stupid.
I guess because of the game changers where Suri gets advantage getting out at final 6 because 3 idols get played, and then the legacy advantage has to be played.
But
at
that
final
wasn't
6.
the last night they could play
I
it.
was-
They just all played it because like one at a time they were like, oh shit, if they're playing it, I've got to play it and that kind of thing. It wasn't because
Yeah.
it was the last tribal.
And that's why I couldn't. That's why I couldn't
Yeah.
remember, because I knew the legacy advantage had to be played at 6, so I couldn't remember if
Yeah.
the idols were also under that proviso. But still, that means there's only 3 weeks to force them to then use it.
Exactly. And I think that it's
And they're gonna
important
they're
to
gonna
try
play
to
it at Final
push
5 and guarantee themselves a spot in Final 4. And Deshaun and Ricard should realize, if they have 2 of the Final 4 seats, and we don't have a guarantee because Shan seems tight with Liliana. I don't know why I want to call her Liliana. It's driving me
I
nuts.
don't know.
But Shan is thinking she's getting one of those seats because she has an idol. Xander has one of those 4 seats to get an idol. If you don't force them out, then there's, one of you is probably getting left out, if not both of you.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I'm very excited to see like how this is all going to shake out. Have you guys heard about the incoming do or die twist that's coming pretty
I've
pretty
heard
soon?
the rumors. I've heard the rumors of it. It's a terrible idea. It's just like, again, this is a situation where I think Danny could end up going, because he will think because I'm the big strong man. His like macho-ness will get him into a situation where I have to compete for immunity at all times.
Also,
And he could
can we
easily
just-
drop out first, and then he, like, if it's like stack the plates on the stupid arm thingy.
Can we
And-
talk about something that I don't know if you discussed this last week or not with Danny? It's just open that he was a football player.
I
Like
feel like it's
normally people
become
are
some.
hiding that. And like,
Yeah.
and so he
I think he
basically was
got-
like, I've
I
played
f-
in big arenas and this is nothing. And Jeff's like, oh, and like, you can see that Jeff literally is like, okay, so I guess everybody knows. And then he's literally
Right.
like,
I think
oh yeah,
Jeff,
tell us about that.
well, I think Jeff is put in a position where he can't lie for him. So if he openly admits, I've played in big arenas,
Oh,
well,
that's
then
my
that leaves you with like very few options.
But that's my
what
point.
you
Like
do
Danny
for a
doesn't
living.
say that unless it's already like well known. So apparently he's told people,
Did
which I'm sitting
someone-
back and I'm
did
like,
someone-
that's stupid.
I feel like he got recognized by someone in the early weeks. Like back when we were.
You're right.
I think
I
someone
forget who it was,
busted
though.
him. I think it was Sydney clocked him.
Yeah.
I think someone on Luvu recognized that he was
Yeah.
But
a
then she
former football
left.
player.
She left immediately.
I know.
Oh no, Sydney. I'm sorry, I'm thinking
Sydney.
Sarah. Jeez.
Yeah, no. It's Sydney. Sydney, I think, is the one who clocks him, and he doesn't. He doesn't try to pull a Gary from Guatemala and be like, no, I'm not Danny. I'm not former football player. No, that's
Yeah.
not me.
So Beth, to clarify, like you haven't heard of this do or die twist?
Nope.
So, and this is confirmed by Martin Holmes from Inside Survivor, so very reliable source.
Yeah. That's
And they say that they're doing this next season as well. But so basically, Jeff is like before the immunity challenge, he's going to say, "All right, you can compete, you can sit out from this challenge, or you can compete. But if you compete and you're the first one out of the challenge, you are out of the game."
Now, see, that's not how I heard the twist. I heard
How did
it's
you hear it?
the first person who is out from that immunity challenge. Like the sit out thing is true from what I've heard. The person who is out first basically is put in like the 50-50 coin flip. And if it lands wrong, then you're out. No idols can save you. No like advantages.
I hate
That's-
that even
that's
more
what-
because like that's just like stupid luck at that point rather than like a consequence for your action or choice.
Yeah.
You know what I
like
mean?
and I think that's what they're trying to sell it as. It's not as bad a twist.
Yeah. Beth, what do
Wait,
you
so
think?
I need to follow this again. So if you can choose to sit out.
Like
Of the immunity
with like a
challenge.
meal. Like the challenges where there's like food or challenge.
So
It's
you can
just
choose to sit out and have no risk at just immediately getting at a 50-50 coin flip, like leaving the game. But if you choose to
Mhm.
stay in and you're the first one out, it's a 50-50 chance as to whether or not you stay in.
Yeah.
yes. You're
I like that
I
better. I like that better than the other one because like you still it's better than just, oh, you're out first, you're done. You have the chance to stay. But still.
because that could also fuck up
Anytime
people's
somebody
plans. Like,
emphasizes the word chance, I think of Sam from Big Brother 20. I have the
Well, there's-
chance.
well, like it takes the idols out, and it takes out like the shot in the dark. Like that's the way it was described from what I've like read and heard. Is it you
Yeah.
basically can't be like, I'm gonna play my shot in the dark and try to grab safety out of the fucking urn. It's
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
you
But
do this
I'm,
coin flip.
I'm not too crazy about it, but we'll see how it goes. Like, I mean,
Oh,
that's
so
Oh.
they have
how,
to
like, Heather
wait
goes.
until tribal?
If it happens,
They don't
at
even
tribal.
do the flip right there and then. I think it'd be
That's
better if
I-
they drop.
I have
if they
heard it is
drop
at tribal.
down and then they just. I think it's better if they do it right at the challenge. Could you imagine the drama of other people holding on and just being like, "Holy shit, that person just got voted out of the game. That's my ally
Yeah.
or whatever." That like
have,
and see
have,
the tilt.
have that coin like standing like right in front of them on like a
Yes!
podium or something, so they see it.
Put it in like the Beauty and the Beast glass and have it framed on like a little pedestal, and you just
It's
lift
a
it
petal.
up.
Petals keep falling off the flower.
Or that
Like, if we're
stupid
gonna-
podium thing that Tiffany had for the Coin of Destiny, where she had to like
Like,
push
yeah,
that
oh,
thing
yes.
down.
Take
And then,
the
like,
launcher. It's not even you get to flip it or have Jeff flip it. It's a fucking launcher of stupidity.
and
Because
Julia
that's what
just,
this twist-
pops out of the
That's what
bushes
this
and she's
twist
like,
is. It's a
"Destiny,
launcher of
Destiny,
stupidity.
Destiny."
Do you
Yeah.
remember when Michelle Fitzgerald had to flip the coin in Winners at War?
Oh,
And it was
so
so
awkward.
dumb. It was so awkward. That's what they're literally gonna do with this. But how much better would it be if they just did it at the challenge?
Yeah,
While the
I
challenge
agree.
is still going on.
I think that would be, yeah. I think that would be a great thing. If we're gonna do a stupid twist like this, it
By the
needs
way,
to
in
have
that
immediate
situation, I'm sitting out.
repercussions.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm sitting out. Even if
Yeah, but,
I'm
like-
the target, I would much rather have my shot in the dark still available to me than
Mhm.
because that exists. And if you have not played it, I would much rather have that as my.
I also want to be able to have more time to like utilize my social game based off who wins the power. Like there's so many more factors you can do even if you're the target, right? Than if you just
Mhm.
were like immediately eliminated by chance / you were the first one out. I'd much rather sit out and eat.
Also,
Or
like,
yeah,
if
anything.
you were, so if you're competing in that competition and like Heather's like already like the first one out, right?
Did you say
Like,
Heather?
yes, because that's like,
that's actually the
realistically what
rumor
this
is
is.
Heather is the one who suffers from this twist.
Oh,
Is Heather is the victim of this.
It would
That is
explain her
one
like
of the
very
rumors that is
invisible
floating around.
edit. But like it would really inform like your decision, like still hanging up there, like seeing like who, like if they were to leave like right in that moment, like that's a very like in that moment, like you're deciding like, does this like influence, like do I need to win immunity even more now, or like who do I need to like stay in like until this person drops, type of thing. Like it totally changes like the numbers like remaining, and like
because
and
remember
that's
you
so,
still have to go to tribal.
yeah.
So is this like at tribal a 50-50 coin is flipped and then you were gone and then tribal's over, or is it?
I think that
whoever
is
gets
how it
voted?
is. As I've understood it, that is how it is.
Oh, then maybe it doesn't make sense to do it at the challenge, because then it's just like people holding on for no fucking reason. If there's, but if they were to do it, hey, this could be a double.
Like if you flip it at
tonight.
the challenge and then say BT Dubs, you're still going to tribal. Like
That's-
that would be the thing you
that's
make.
how it should
That
be.
would be
I
that would
think
be the thing you would make.
That's how it should go.
Yeah, that would be that to implement this twist and make it not suck as hard as it sounds like it sucks. Is you say, if this lands, no matter how this lands, you're still going to tribal. You're just going as 6 or 5, depending upon we don't know when they're doing it. I haven't heard a confirmation on when they actually do the stupid challenge or stupid twist.
It's gotta be very soon, and like maybe that's like what causes like the drama at camp that we saw. in the promo for next week, but we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
Gosh, I love all this game theory talk with you guys. It's very fun. But all right, I want to
I'm
update
just
our
trying
draft.
to I'm just trying to find ways to polish this turd to make it
Yeah.
not look
I
so
get
much
it.
as a pile of shit, but it's not working.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try.
All right, so here's our draft. So Hoofland lost his first person tonight, and Valencia is now out of the running. And Matt, you're still holding on strong with both members, and in pretty good positions here, I would say too.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Matt, I think is the better. I think Matt, you have the best team for sure.
Because I just don't see Danny or Deshaun winning this season.
Yeah. I could see Deshaun winning.
Well, I guess Deshaun. I just can't see Danny winning.
Yeah.
And if it's Danny who gets fucked over by this twist, like Adrian, says it's Heather or Danny, this could explain also why Danny is still so pissed with production.
Yeah.
That
Adrian says
if
we
he
need to
gets
wave our white flags for our teams.
Like I can, and see the funny thing is I can see either Erica or Ricard still winning this game, even though Erica doesn't look like she's done much. Sometimes it's the person she's perceived as the big threat for no reason other than she smashed some glass.
That is very strange, isn't it? Like, so she won immunity tonight. Like, we didn't even mention that. Like, good on Erica for literally holding in there longer than an NFL player. So very good on her. But
she wasn't against Danny.
No, but Danny.
Yeah, but Danny fell before she did. Because Erica won, and it was Xander and Deshaun still standing.
You're good. Gotcha. You're good. But maybe once Heather leaves, maybe we have this really badass Natalie Anderson endgame in Erica, and that would be why she was so quiet in the first half. Is she's just gonna really turn it the hell on for the second half.
Or
that would be
going to be the Natalie White of this season.
I'd prefer an Anderson than a White.
I mean, I would prefer it too, but I feel like we're more likely to see Natalie White than Natalie Anderson.
Yes.
Based on how this edit looks, because Natalie White won with 0 confessionals too. She had very, very, very. I think she's still the lowest winner outside of Chris Underwood because of his Edge of Extinction bullshit.
By far.
Yeah. So I could definitely see an Erica or a Heather getting a Natalie White win because you can't really explain it other than the fact that everyone else killed themselves. And she's like, hi, I'm still here.
Yeah.
They all threw bombs and she was like, hello, I'm still standing.
That would literally be my finale
Russell
speech for Erica. It's Shan is an evil mastermind. I'm the nice person who said, hi, I'm still here. That literally would be my speech is, for some reason, I am still here, and I was not dragged here because they've been wanting to get rid of me for the whole entire time we've been out here. Because Lulu wanted to get rid of me. Shan has wanted to get rid of me. Shan didn't get what she wanted. I'm here.
Yes.
I would love her to be like, I'm a cockroach.
Y'all can't get rid of me. I'm yes, but I do want to quickly just eulogize Evie in this season. I thought she was a really great character, and her final words were really great. Just I love all the queer people out there. Just love yourself, be yourself. Just really classy, good. And she was like, I was playing on borrowed time anyway, so she's not going to be a better juror, and I feel like she's going to really inform this jury very well in terms of trying to think less emotionally about your decision of who wins this game, and really honestly vote for who played the best game. So that's all I have to say about Evie. But
pretty amazing.
I think that's everything. So we'll be back next Wednesday. We won't be doing the challenge until the following Sunday. So we're doing it every 2 episodes. So we'll be back to recap episodes 2 and 3. So we'll be back next week. I think we're still. I mean, we have to think about the Thanksgiving of it all.
I know. I'm sitting here going, I'm traveling that day. I don't know what.
I am too.
I am not.
I don't know. We'll see.
I will be taking over my weekly meltdown because my family is all stuck in a house. So tune
Well,
in next week for Matt's weekly meltdown on Survivor.
Allison might be around to do a show with you, Matt. I don't think I'll be, because I'll be traveling as well to Maryland with Sora, which I'm very excited about. But we may or may not be here next week in some capacity. We'll see. We're whatever. We'll figure it out. But regardless, we'll be back like 2 weeks from today, back to our normal schedule to break down all things Survivor. Very worst case scenario, if we skip next week, we'll have even more to talk about the following week, because this season just keeps on giving, and
it sure.
And I don't see it. I don't see it losing steam like anytime soon, honestly. And maybe I'll feel differently if like Shan leaves. I feel like that could kind of like slow things down a little bit.
I think no matter who leaves, I think we're still going to be going full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Because I think it just shifts who's the new power broker.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that fun stuff. Give us a thumbs up on the on YouTube. They're hiding dislikes from now on. So if you dislike us, we won't hear about it anymore. So, and follow us or subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. All of that fun stuff. Beth, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at AugustaWind11 on all my social media handles. And I did see a question from Adrian about my Dragula thoughts. I love Dragula this season. It's great. I did not watch this past episode, but if anybody is interested in my thoughts on the first couple of episodes, you can find my coverage from RHAP with Jeremy and Aman on YouTube and anywhere else you get podcasts.
Yes. And Matt, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at IceMystic1216 on Twitter. I have an Instagram that I do not use. And you can also watch me on Twitch as I'm relaunching my channel. I relaunched it this morning. Yay. So if you like video game content that is exclusively queer, come check me out. Join the cult.
Yeah, do it.
We're always recruiting new members.
And I'm sure my sister's not watching, but I just want to give her a quick shout out. She, like, for my 30th birthday, she gave me what was like the best birthday gift I've ever gotten in my life. So she got a professional graphic designer to make like a book of like some of my like best like weddings and stuff, and it's so perfect because she made this like inclusivity policy page and like all that stuff. It is so well done. Like it's like a nice like hardcover book, and
what a great thing to be able to show potential clients.
Yeah, really. I was going to say, this is the perfect business. Like, this is like, here is my greatest hits.
She reached out to the printer I used for my business cards to get the exact Pantone swatch for my branding to go into that book.
Props to the sister. If someone could go to Best Twist channel and clip that and find a way to get that to Tyler's sister, that would be great.
I mean, I just like I love my sister so much, and like it genuinely brought me to tears. So I just have to give her a shout out because feeling all the love as I turned the gay 60 30. So
wait, we talked about this a few weeks. How do you feel now that you're 30?
I feel like even better than I did at 29. You know what I
mean?
Thank
you.
Like,
I said the same thing.
Like I feel like I have like a new decade ahead of me to like accomplish so much, but with like so much more like reassurance in who I am and like where I'm going, and
stability.
I don't feel like a lost 20 something, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you're no longer at the end of a decade looking back. You're looking forward to a whole new decade. You are a proper adult with like stability and all that fun stuff. And the best part is, when you turn 30, there's just a level of shedding a skin that is just purely that other people have made for you. And you just kind of emerge as like, I just can be whoever I want now because I'm 30. Who cares? I love it.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good and feeling all the love. Thank you guys to everybody for the birthday messages.
Your birthday present was supposed to arrive today, and then it didn't. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, I didn't give you yours till like 3 months later. So
that's the thing. I did have it sent to me, so it will probably turn into Beth and Tyler see each other in February, and
I'm sorry.
No. I'm just,
That
that's
moment
more
where
on me.
Beth opens Tyler's present and is using it on stream, and then is like, "Oh, this is your present."
I'd be okay with that. I'd support it. Listen, anything to get Beth those Twitch views and get that Prime sub and everything. So, all right, well, I love you
You
guys.
also
I
use
will
that
see you
Prime sub
guys.
of me, Tyler. God damn it.
Oh, of course. I'll give you Daddy Bezos' money for sure.
Daddy Bezos.
But Matt, thank you again for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk to
Oh,
you.
it's always fun to be here.
All right, guys, everybody, take care. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.